Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. We have a big update out of the Trump administration's push to deal with Russia and what is going to happen in Ukraine. That is right. We have more developings. It's obviously a very fast developing situation. We've talked about it at length on this channel every day. We seem to be getting a new piece of information that is put out into the bloodstream that we then try to analyze and break down. But the one thing I will say is it does not look like this war is going to be coming to an end in the near future. I'll repeat that again. It does not look like this war will be coming to an end in the near future, judging from the latest actions President Trump has taken. In fact, get ready for a lot of explosions, possibly deep inside Russia. Before we get started, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Costs you guys absolutely nothing at all and is a huge boost to the channel. So please do that for me. Comment with your thoughts below. How do you want to see President Donald Trump deal with Russia? How do you want to see him handle the Ukraine war? What should be done? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that notifications bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a single thing. And then right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X, D Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open. Please send me any information you got. Now let's get into it. Look, we've been following this very closely for a very long time. President Trump, prior to being elected and after being elected, very much made the claim, listen, I plan on bringing this war to an end as quickly as possible. I plan on putting an end to the killing, an end to the violence. I don't want this to go on. He attempted to do that through diplomatic means. He met with Vladimir Putin in Alaska. He's met with Zelensky a couple of times. He's met with the European leaders, NATO leaders. There have been lots of talking, lots of conversation. At some point, Trump made the decision that no matter what Putin said and no matter what they negotiated over, Putin at the end of the day was not going to play ball. And Trump very clearly said, I'm not happy with him. I think he's lying. Trump then decided our best course of action is to do a 180, do a complete pivot, and we are now going to help Ukraine crush Russia out of the country. And in order to do that, they're going to need a lot of highly advanced weapons. So Trump, after initially kind of hinting, hey, maybe I'll just cut off weapons entirely, does a 180 and says, you know what? Forget about it. Give them whatever they want. Push them out. Push them all the way back to Russia. That's what we're going to do now. If Putin doesn't want to negotiate, then we're going to essentially escalate to de-escalate. That includes, let me put this on the screen, U.S. considers Ukraine's request for long-range Tomahawk missiles. President Donald Trump has not made a final decision on the sale of the weapons, which could strike 1,500 miles into Russia. This is from the Washington Post. It says, the United States is considering granting Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky's request for Tomahawk cruise missiles and allowing Kiev to strike deep into Russia. President Donald Trump's special envoy for Ukraine and Russia confirmed over the weekend. Tomahawk cruise missiles, which have a range of at least 1,500 miles, would be a major improvement to Ukraine's arsenal and its ability to hit deep inside Russia, including Moscow, something that previous U.S. administration was reluctant to allow. In an interview with Fox News on Sunday, retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg said Trump had authorized Ukraine to carry out long-range strikes. So Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, who is the special envoy, he went on TV and said Trump has authorized Ukraine to carry out strikes deep inside Russian territory, 1,500 miles inside Russian territory. That puts the Kremlin, Moscow, squarely within range for the Ukrainians to smoke them. There are no such thing as sanctuaries. This is where I think they have the opportunity to challenge Russia much more aggressively. At a news conference Monday, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Russia was carefully analyzing the very serious statements made over the weekend, trying to understand who would launch the missiles and how the targets would be set. Even if this happens, there's no panacea that can change the situation on the front lines for the Kiev regime. There is no magic weapon, whether it's Tomahawks or missiles. They will not be able to change the dynamics. Ukraine already carries out long-range attacks with its fleet of drones, particularly against oil infrastructure, but Tomahawks would be a major military upgrade. Under President Joe Biden, the United States only reluctantly allowed the use of ATACM missiles inside Russia with a range of just 190 miles. J.D. Vance is going to come in now. This is important. Vice President J.D. Vance also interviewed Sunday on Fox News, said Trump had not made a final decision on the sale of Tomahawk missiles to European countries, which would then send them to Ukraine. So we have a little bit of conflicting information, although it certainly does appear Trump is trending towards signing off on this, blowing up targets deep inside Russia. Frustrated by gridlock on the Russian side, with the Kremlin refusing to sit down for bilateral or trilateral peace talks brokered by Trump, Vance said Russia has to wake up and accept reality. A lot of people are dying. They don't know how much, they don't have much to show of it. How many more people are they willing to lose? How many more people are they willing to kill for very little, if any, military advantage? So there it is, folks. The United States of America is getting ready, and I'm going to throw this up on the screen for you. So that's a Tomahawk missile. That what you're looking at on your screen right now is a Tomahawk missile, and the United States is getting ready to authorize these being sold with a range of 1,500 miles. Again, deep, deep, deep into Russian territory. They could hit Russian bases, Russian airfields, Russian government buildings. They would have the ability to reach out and touch pretty much everything that would be critically important. Now, they're not going to have the range to hit Vladivostok all the way on the east, but Western Russia, where Moscow is, would totally be within range. And these weapons carry devastating warheads. Let's flip through some pictures here. So there's one being launched by a boat coming out of a missile tube. Another one. This is one being launched from a submarine. That one would be that is also coming from a ship. Here is the ground-based launchers. This is what Ukraine would get. Another one coming out of a ship. And that's a map of who operates them right now. But that's not all. We have this as well. Let me put this up on the screen. This is more weapons are flooding into Ukraine. This comes from Ozent Defender during a recent interview by the BBC with the first Deputy Minister of the Defense of Ukraine, Lieutenant General Ivan Havrylyak. I probably butchered that. I apologize. He states that Ukraine will be receiving additional F-16s and Mirage 2000s soon from allies in Europe, while announcing for the first time that Ukraine is expecting to receive Saab JAS 39 Gripens, I believe I pronounced that correctly, from Sweden, with him adding, when you see them in the sky over Ukraine, then you'll know they have arrived. So let me pull this off the screen now. You got cruise missiles that are likely on their way at any moment. You have fighter jets that are going to be flooding Ukraine that they will use to try to control the airspace. And you have, according to Keith Kellogg, the president of the United States telling Ukraine, use these weapons to strike deep, deep, deep inside of Russia. It is clear to me that this is escalating. This is escalating. Sorry, my nose itches a little bit. This is escalating in a way nobody probably saw coming. This is escalating in a fashion that is 180 degrees against where President Donald Trump was when he first started his term. He wanted to try diplomacy. Diplomacy didn't work. Now he's going the weapons route. At the same time this is going on, you have Russian jets that violated NATO airspace. President Trump said he wants those shot down. You have drones that went into Romania and Poland, also NATO airspace. They were shot down. Everything is going up the escalation ladder. We're not taking any steps to get off of it. In fact, we're seeing more and more chaos, more and more violence. Russia is starting to feel like it's been backed into a corner and is unleashing devastating, brutal attacks. And now Ukraine might have the ability to strike deep within Russian territory. This situation is getting worse, not better. I don't know how it's going to end, but it's very clear to me, probably very clear to everyone watching this, that it clearly is not going to end in a peace deal very, very soon or in the near future. The other thing to keep in mind is if Russia starts losing targets deep inside Russia, what will they do in response? What will their response be if cities, infrastructure, military command, whatever, their submarine pens, wherever it might be, if they start losing targets deep inside Russia that are devastating to their military, how is Russia going to respond? My guess is they're going to escalate. If they escalate, what option do the NATO countries in Ukraine have? To also escalate. And that's how these things can spiral out of control very quickly. I've said it once. I've said it many times. I'll say it again. We do not want or need Russian or American troops in Ukraine. That has to be a red line that cannot be crossed. Not one American soldier should die in Ukraine. Not one American soldier should be fighting in Ukraine. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to send troops. Clearly, the dynamics are fluid and changing. And now we are arming them with very, very powerful weapons, as are other NATO allies. And again, just another step up the escalation ladder. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. How do you want to see Ukraine be handled? What do you think we should do? How should we handle them? Let me know in the comments below. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Cost you guys absolutely nothing. Huge, huge, huge boost to the channel. Hit that bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a thing. And then Instagram, David_Hookstead, X D Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open. Please send me any information you got, or just reach out and say hello. Until then, I'll see y'all next time.